Lionsgate. And I say 3/8 because 2024 adds up to 8. So it is a very powerful, very divine time to be here, to be alive. Now, today I'm going to do something very different than what I usually do on YouTube. So I'm pretty excited about it. And I want to sort of explain what I'm about to do, and then we'll go into it. So I tried multiple times today to sort of figure out what needed to be said. And based on Monday's live video, I've been very, not necessarily confused, I've just been very overwhelmed with the amount of information there is. With every piece of information that I'm observing, there are so many different angles, there's different timelines, there's different perceptions, there's different frequencies that I can observe that piece of information within. So I've really been getting sort of overwhelmed in the fact that, I'm really not sure what angle to focus on. And I really try and be in the middle. But right now, being in the middle means you're in between many different aspects. So after failed attempt and failed attempt to really hone in on the message for today, I figured why not just channel it live? So I do a lot of live channeling for my community online, mostly because it's more of a protected space, but I just did a little bit of cord cutting and protection. Now, before I go into a live channeling, I want to actually just explain to you a couple of different things about the way that I channel and receive information. So, first of all, the majority of what I do is remote viewing, which means that I will get out of my body, and then whatever the intention I have when I get out of my body is the direction that I go and the information that I gather. So, one of my main interpretation skills is clairvoyance, which means that I see the information. That's how I interpret the information. Remote viewing is a part of how I get there, and then how I perceive it is through visual. So I'll most likely be seeing something today and then explaining that. Now, another aspect of remote viewing and what I do and how I do it is there are so many different places to go when you do end up getting out of your body. A couple of my favorite places to go are past lifetimes and the Galactic Federation Mothership. These are some of the most familiar places to me. And I've also visited a lot of military bases, which has gotten me in trouble. And then one of the things that I can do as well is I can remote view and go to different planets. I can go to different timelines. I can go to different places on and off planet Earth. I can also go right to the center of the universe and talk to God or Source, whatever you want to call it. I can speak to ascended masters or interdimensional extraterrestrial beings, of course. And then something else that I don't talk about often is, and this is something that I did a lot at the beginning when I first really opened back up around 18 years old, is I'm able to tune into the collective consciousness. Now, just remember that everything I'm explaining, you can do too. I'm not special. I'm not like a fifth generation psychic. I wasn't trained in some ancient mystery school. Everything that I know how to do is completely self taught, which is why I believe you can all do it too. And so, one of the things that I'm able to observe is sort of this collective frequency. Now, when I take a look at the 8 billion people on planet Earth, it can be very difficult to gauge where the planet is at. Maybe 10 years ago, it was super easy. Everyone was sort of on the same collective path. After 2012 and then after 2020, the timelines have been shifting so rapidly, it's very difficult. I very easily get lost in all of the different layers of vibration on the planet and which sort of layer I need to look at to best serve individuals. Today, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to observe and look at the collective energy of this group in particular. And when I talk about this group in particular, I'm talking about everyone who's currently watching me and everyone who will watch me and watch this in the future. Um, Side note, maybe a fun side note, anytime I do anything that is future oriented, I am able to perceive the reaction and interactions of of how that content is perceived in the future. I know it sounds confusing and it can be very overwhelming in the moment. So, for example, I'm currently writing my second book, set to be published in 2025. Very excited about that. As I am writing and really just automatic writing these chapters, I am actually hearing the thoughts of the people who are going to read that chapter and read those words in the future. Can you imagine trying to create something in the present moment while simultaneously perceiving how it's going to be received in the future? It's bizarre. It's bizarre. So once again, that was like just a fun side note. My intention for today is to channel this group, to channel the audience of this video in particular. Maybe you've never seen me before, so welcome on in. Maybe you've been here for many years, so thank you for being here. And yeah, so I just wanted to like sort of describe that. One more thing I want to describe about, I guess, the way that I am, because I don't talk about sort of what I do and how I do it and who I am often. I had a friend reach out today and he's like, oh my goodness, I just saw your Open Minds interview with Regina. And I was like, oh, he was like, oh, it's so good. Like, do you need a login to my account so you can watch it? And I'm like, I don't watch my own content. I just can't. I literally can't. So anyway, I'm like, I'm glad it resonated with you. And he said, you really sound so grounded, And I thought about that for a second. And I thought, it's actually not me being grounded in these interviews. It's actually just me bringing forth a divine masculine energy. So I want to explain something as well so that you can also perceive and understand me better or at a deeper level. There are videos and times where I get very excited and I talk a mile a minute and, hopefully it's cohesive, but there's a lot of emotion and energy and excitement and a little bit of rambling involved in that. And that's actually a specific focus on my divine feminine energy. So it's unstructured, it's on the whim, and typically my divine feminine energy comes out when I'm learning something new. So my channeling or my remote viewing is very structured. What do I need to know and where do I need to go to get it? When I get very excited, it's because my human, my divine feminine, is learning something new and reacting to that new information and getting pretty pumped up about it in the moment. My divine masculine typically comes out in a very structured interview style because I'm not live channeling. I'm actually just responding with the conclusion that I've made over a number of years of channeling information, and I'm summing it up and I'm being very articulate about it because I know it. I know that information. So today, you might see me rambling and getting excited because what I'm about to do is brand new, right? Brand new for you, but also brand new for me. And I just wanted to take the time today to sort of explain that. And once again, all day I've had download after download, all these information drops coming in. Half of me wanted to write all of it down. Half of me did write some of it down. And a big part of me was thinking, do I just sort of explain all of the downloads today? But I figured I'm going to go a little bit more with the flow. Even though every Monday Live is channeled and I do sit down about an hour beforehand to make notes, today I'm just going to do it on the spot. What you're going to see is what I do every single Monday and also what I do for my members in Q&As and coaching calls. Oh yeah, speaking of members, right after this, whenever this is done, we are going to hop onto the website and release a meditation. So I just recorded that a couple of days ago, and it's got frequencies involved, and it's specifically around healing. I really felt like we all need some deep biological, cellular, and soul healing today. So if you feel like you need a little bit of healing on 888, please go check out that meditation on the website. Okay, let's just tap right into it. Sorry about that long rant, but I just felt called to explain all of that to you. Okay, 1 second. I'm going to close my eyes, quiet my mind, cut cords, center myself, bring in source, set an intention, which would be, what does this group of individuals need to know right now? And then we'll see where we head. 1 second. Oh, interesting. Okay, cool. I'm gonna like, I really feel like there's more information, but I'm gonna do this in stages because this is where I have to write things down, or I have to stop the channeling to come back into my body to explain it, or else I'm gonna miss it. And I don't know if you guys know this, but like 2 seconds of, I don't know, out of body experience can equate for 2 hours of information. It's pretty wild. All right, so the first thing that I saw visually, of course, it was a visual, is this big crowd of people. And so initially I was thinking that, well, it is. I was thinking, oh, this is the group of individuals who's watching me, which it is. But I was just thinking that because I was cutting cords and protecting my energy, I felt like I was just seeing you guys, seeing me. It's like weird, but no, it's actually a part of this metaphorical image. And as I'm taking a look at this group of people, each person, it's almost like there's no details. It's their energy body is what I'm seeing, but they're also clearly human. And and then there's like these. Every person has a different color, but they only have one color. So like one person's red, or one person's blue, or one person's pink, or green, or yellow. And then I'm like, okay, interesting. And I just sort of let it play out. And then all of a sudden, two of these individuals start interacting together in this sort of scene, in this crowd. And as they do, it was so fascinating. It's almost like these, once again, like a metaphorical image, these like sparks of light, or sparks of energy, I should say, in their perspective color pop out of the top of their head and like come together, I guess, in between them. And I was like, okay, that's interesting. And then it's like they exchanged colors. And so now the person with blue also has red, and the person with red also has blue. And I'm like, cool. So we're all just going to be mud, by the end of this. I guess that was like sort of my human reaction to it, right? You just think of mixing colors. But no, actually, that wasn't the case. Eventually, everyone started to share their energies. And instead of just turning to, I guess, black or brown or whatever it would be, it was almost like each one of us had, and it felt like sparkly, like a rainbow, like almost like, but not like, it didn't look like a rainbow. It was like all of these little fractals. Like if you think of clear quartz that has been cracked, those like crackled clear quartz, and then you see all the rainbows inside. That's what it looked like. I guess you could call it like a crystalline energy, but it only happened once we all, not just two people, not just red and blue, but we all connected. Essentially, it's a very beautiful visualization of activating each other and sharing light codes, light codes. And so I'm like, ooh, okay. And I get chills just saying those words. And so then my question was, no, and then I'm like, okay, so I was just sort of observing, taking it in. That was very clear to me, but interpret it how you will. And then when I continued to observe, there was sort of another scene. So there's like this scene where the majority of us are like sort of sharing these light codes, and we're adding to the fractals, and we're basically becoming these rainbow crystalline beings. And then there's like this scene off to my left where two individuals who had separate colors, but in only one color. It was red and something else. I don't know, whatever, it doesn't matter. But solo colors. And so the one solid color, kind of like, I could interpret it or imagine it as like, didn't agree with the other solid color and say, you're not my color. And then the other one was like, you're not my color. And so there was no light codes shared. And it was like they were both triggered and like angry at each other, and then they were stuck in their own color. I don't know. This like sounds ridiculous, but whatever. It is what I saw. Um, right. Okay. I guess that was it. There was something else I feel like. One second. Was there anything else? Oh yeah. Hold on. Right, right. So that's it. When I asked the question, how, like, how do we do this? How do we share these light codes? It was a connection. Oh, yeah. It was the ability to see the, I mean, I guess not to be woo woo, but to be woo woo, like to see the beauty in the other person. The second that we, okay, as an individual, I don't know, the second we don't accept another person for who they are, for the color that they're bringing, hey, you're not like me, I can't accept you, there's an immediate sort of stagnation that is created. So, how do we become these crystalline beings? How do we become these beautiful prism rainbows? It's seeing each other for a part of the whole. I mean, like, we know this, right? We know this. Okay, so cool. I'm going to leave that sort of visual and that message. I'm just going to leave that to the side. That's fantastic. I'm going to go back into this group energy. I'm not sure if it's going to be something like additional from there, or if it's like going to be something different completely. I don't know if it's a series of information or just, I don't know, one thing. Let's just take a look. Let's go back in and let's see if there's any other information we can sort of gather here. One second. Interesting. Okay, okay, there is another part here. This is a little, it's getting a bit more complex, but it feeds off of the original part. How do I even say this? Okay. So then we go back to the visual of the people. And let's go to the visual of the people who are fighting, right? They're judging each other. They can't see each other for who they are, so they're stagnant. So there's like, I don't know who you are. You're not like me, and I'm not going to talk to you. So then they continue to be their own colors. And then there's a version of that progresses, and it says, I see who you are. You're different than me, and you're worse than me. There's a judgment there. And then I saw, once again, it's like it gets more complex. Then I saw an exchange of the colors, but through trauma. And it's very nuanced. It's like almost intangible. So so then like the blue brings on the red, but the red energy that they take on is almost like tainted or corrupt or like not good because it's a judgment. And I said, how is that even possible? And it was like through us observing others in a negative way, we end up actually absorbing those negative qualities and traits because remember, what we focus on, what we observe, we create. And so it's not just, you're not like me, I'm going to be ignorant to you and look the other way, which is actually less harmful than observing someone for who they are and saying, you're worse than me, or judging that person for who they are. And what we do is we secretly take on part of that energy, or we already have part of that energy within us, and we start to resent that part of the energy. So basically, it almost looked like a transference of negativity or even a transference of dis-ease. It's kind of like you're having a shitty day, and then that energy, that vibe rubs off on people that you interact with, and now they're having a terrible day, but you're feeling a bit better because there was an energy exchange and it wasn't a good one. So it's interesting. I think that we think about light codes in a positive and loving way, yes, but I don't think we observe often enough how other people can damage and affect us through us observing them, but not just objectively observing them and reacting negatively towards them, it actually, like we end up absorbing some of that negativity when we do that. Interesting. Okay. I'm getting another piece to this. All right, all right. Hopefully you're following. So then, all right, I don't know. It gets weird, but so then you've either seen someone and said, you're different from me. I'm observing that, but you're just a part of Source and I'm a part of Source. And if we come together in a loving way, recognizing each other, then we can share those light codes in the highest possible way, whatever. Or I see you, I observe you, you're different from me, I'm judging you, I don't like you, you're secretly taking that on or resenting that part of yourself, and then that spiral happens. However, at any point in time, we can take the different rainbow qualities, the traits, the light codes, if you will, the pieces of information, the DNA within us, the lessons that we have or have not learned, we can take on that information. And if it's in a high vibration, we can change it into a low vibration. Likewise, if we've taken that on through a judgmental or low vibrational way, we can transmute that into a high vibration. So as much as I'd like to say, if you've now taken on a lot or judged a lot or been bullied or like gone through traumas and like you have a lot of those sort of tainted pieces, you're able to transmute them into the light. Yes, absolutely. But it actually also goes the other way. We can have a lot of knowledge, a lot of experience, a lot of trauma, a lot of learning, a lot of lessons, a lot of challenges, a lot of growth. And at any point in our life, we can basically go into a vibrational dip and almost have all of those traits work against us in a sense as well. So I don't know, it's just like something to be aware of, I guess. But I think the word here is tools. We have these tools, and we also have to be aware of how we're interacting with other people. I think in so many ways, this message is coming through to remind us to bring this awareness, especially on 8/8. This is a powerful day. This is a portal day. There are DNA activations. I don't know about you guys, but I've made a lot of breakthroughs, a lot of realizations, not just today itself, but all week leading up to this day. Even the other night, I was making tea. This is going to sound weird, but I'm going to say it. I was making tea, and we have like white counters and white walls, very white here. And my arm like kind of moved to like grab something for the tea, and I could see my what are they called? Arm trails, right? Arm trails. So I used to see this all the time back in the day, especially every single full moon. I would always get arm trails to the point where I would make a joke to my friends that I could high five myself, right? If you go quick enough, you like your arm trail comes back. Anyway, whatever. So the other day I'm like, why am I seeing arm trails? Like, this is bizarre. It's been a while. I haven't been meditating all day. It's not a full moon. And it's actually just the 8/8. Like, it's such a clear reminder for me that the energy is palpable. This is a great time to reflect, a great time to cut cords, a great time to clear energy, a great time to really set the intentions for what you want. So I guess my sort of awareness to you is who in your life is affecting you in the positive? How are you exchanging those light codes with those people in your life? And also, who in your life is maybe triggering something in you? Are you able to transmute that? And I'm really at this time realizing that no matter if you are triggered by your neighbor or the politician or whoever, I don't know, your in-laws, really reflecting on the fact that they are a part of Source and they are divinely here, incarnated as a human at this time for a reason. There's a very specific reason for them. They're not just here to be some sort of NPC. This really is a palpable time to be alive, and it's important to start to take a look at all of these fractals around you and ask yourself, can I move these aspects of my life and the people in my life into a higher vibration so that I'm not only benefiting from that interaction, but also giving off that frequency as well? Remember that whatever you focus on is what you create. So stop focusing on the hate and the separation and the differences. Start to observe, yes, what's happening, but also to realize that you're here for a reason, to be a part of it for the betterment of humanity. And that's a really powerful thing. So we are about to launch my my meditation in a couple of minutes. Hop on over to the website, elizabethapril.com, to listen to that meditation, especially right before bed or whatever time zone you're in. It's really peaceful, deeply healing, and it's probably going to be exactly what you need today, just like this message was, hopefully. As always, please subscribe to the channel, especially if you're new. That really helps me out. Like and share this video for others, especially if they're struggling at this time. They're not alone. You're not alone. We're in this together. I'm sending you all so, so much love. And as always, I will see you in the fifth dimension frequency and on August 11th, coming up this weekend for the next Galactic Federation Summit. Let's go remote view our favorite beings in the universe and see what they have to say about planet Earth right now.